Happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. This week I am just going to do a recap of everything I did this week. I actually brewed this weekend. I know I said I wasn't going to. And I decided the holidays were coming up and maybe I would try to brew a cream ale, something that maybe my dad would like. So I did. I brewed a cream ale and I'll show you a clip of that. Right now I'm drinking some of my Two Hearted Clone. It's actually clearing up, so that's good. Tonight me and my wife went out to it's a bar up here, Grizzlies, well known for its craft beer selection, and I was able to get the 2014 Abyss, and that was delicious. So I'm coming home and recording the Homebrew Wednesday. First off, I will show you for the porter, I racked that off to a secondary. I'll also show you that after, but before that I did do vanilla and soaked it in vodka. So I'll show you that and the racking of the porter, and I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm going to try my best to show you how I'm doing this. And actually I'm surprised by the quality of these beans. They're pretty moist. So what I'm going to do is, I've already done 2 already, I'm doing 3. It might be overkill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down the middle. And when you cut it down the middle, pull it apart, and in the inside there's, you know, a black, gooey, black, I don't know, I guess you just call it shit. So what I'm doing here is I'm just dragging the knife as best as I can along it and trying to scrape the stuff off of it, and I'm putting it in this bowl here that's been sanitized, which is probably overkill because I'm going to be pouring it into a beer where the pH is pretty low and has alcohol in it. So I'm just going to scrape it a little bit more, get as much of that as I can. And the reason you do this is you just get better vanilla extraction. So I'll do the other one quick here. And I mean, these, you know, I'm not a bean connoisseur, but they seem pretty good quality. So this one's working a little bit better here. And as you can see in the camera, that black tarry stuff kind of looks like chew. You want all that to go in the bowl. And then once you get all the tar off of the beans, you take them and you cut them into, you know, maybe 1-inch pieces. So I'm doing that, and then I'll come back to show you pouring in the vodka. Alright guys, and this is the vodka I'm using, you know, real premium quality. Distilled 4 times, so it's got to be good stuff, right? Don't mind the name, it's going to be good vodka, right? It doesn't really matter what it tastes like, because you're just trying to sanitize the beans and extract the flavors. So my plan here is just to pour a little bit of vodka over to cover, so it shouldn't be a whole lot of vodka. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pour just enough to cover. Then I'm going to throw the cap on, and I'm going to let it sit. And I'm hoping to let it sit probably a week while the beer is finishing fermenting. I'm going to do a diacetyl rest in it because that is recommended with ringwood yeast. And then I'll just throw into a secondary, and I'll throw all that into a secondary, rack it off on top of it, and let it sit for a week. See what it tastes like. If there's still not enough vanilla in there, let it sit a little bit longer. And then throw it in bottles. Just want to show you how clear this is running. Try to show you the best on this, but it is running super clear. Alright, so there you go. I'll probably leave that porter probably sit maybe another week, and then I'll throw it into bottles. Also this week what I did is I threw an ounce of citra in the double IPA. Lermo had told me to just throw them in the fermenter. I'm really not ready to do that yet. I know that he's definitely right and I'm wrong, but I want this IPA to be really good because it's my second all grain double IPA, and I just want to make sure that everything's good. So actually what I did is I put a ounce of hops in a big paint strainer bag, I think 5 gallons, and then threw that right in the primary fermenter, and it'll sit in there for 3 days. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an ounce, tie it to a string in a bag, like floss or fishing line, attach that to the top of the keg just high enough so it's sitting in the beer, but then once the beer is coming down, it'll stop dry hopping at a certain point. And I'll cold crash for a week or so and carbonate it all at the same time with the dry hops in there. So that's my plan with the IPA. And then this weekend I brewed a cream ale, like I'd said before. So let me show you that footage. I think I did a little bit better this time, but it's still a work in progress. There's the grain. It's pretty fine crush, but it's the only thing I have here at the local homebrew store. And this recipe is going to be 7 pounds 2-row, 2 pounds flaked maize, and 1 pound flaked rice. It's supposed to be 6, but I upped to 1 more pound, just in case I get bad efficiency and just to make it just a little bit stronger. All right. Right now I'm heating up my my strike water. I decided to do a kind of just a cream ale, real light beer. Decided to try to do it and see if possibly I can get, or if I can brew a beer my dad will actually drink. So that's the goal here. And I'm actually going to try to show you the Vorlauf and all that stuff. So I'll see you in a little bit. And I will show you mashing in here. Guys, I did a 90-minute mash, and then I did a mash out. I was only able to get it up to like 164. I still got to work on that, but that's fine. And I'm going to start Vorlaufing. I kind of realized that my first 3 batches, I think I was Vorlaufing too fast. I was opening up the valve wide open. So this time I'm gonna do a little bit slower and try to get it more clear. And I'll come back when I'm starting to get my first runnings. Alright guys, here's my first pitcher, Vorlaufing. I do have some tin foil up in the mash tun. I think I'm going to empty maybe 2 of these or possibly 3, and we'll see how it's running then. Alright, there's the second Vorlauf. It's starting to run more clear. I mean, it doesn't look clear in the pitcher, but when it's coming out of the tubing, it's looking pretty good. There's no grain material. I'm going to do probably 1 more and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, I finally got it to run pretty clear, so now I'm running off into my bucket for the first runnings. Alright, here's the wort running off. As you can see, I have a clip. I actually got that from Lermo. He does that. And I'm just running it off super slow. I don't want to stuck sparge, and I want this to run as clear as possible. Pretty hard to see, but it's running pretty clear. It's looking pretty good. Okay, I took a sample for the hydrometer. Camera's not going to focus, it doesn't look like. But it's sitting at right about 1060. 1060 for the first runnings. Pretty good. Okay, so that was a total bitch. I had about 2 stuck sparges. And so it took me about 2 hours to get done with the Vorlauf and everything. But it's to a boil. And this has 1 ounce of Willamette at 60 minutes, and that's it. So I'll dump those in, and at 60 minutes I'll chill. Actually, at 15 minutes I'll also do Irish moss. Alright guys, I have the beer hooked up to the chiller. Again, it was just a 60-minute addition of Willamette hops, and I'll chill this down. And then what I'm doing with this one is I'm using US-05 that's been rehydrated. It's been sitting here for a while. It's definitely at room temperature. So my goal is to get this at least down to 70 if I can. We are in the winter here, so I should be able to get it down that far. And then I'll transfer it into a carboy, and it'll be good to go. That brew day was a pain in the ass. I had a stuck sparge over and over. I kept having to, recirculate, re-Vorloff, blow up into the ball valve. So next time I'm definitely gonna use rice holes or something. I'm gonna try to figure it out. But I think that's kind of 2 weeks in a row now that I've had stuck sparges, if not really slow sparges. But it did make it through, and it came out at a pretty high gravity. I'm starting to think my hydrometer may be off, but there was 2 of them that were pretty consistent. It came out at 1058 to 1060, real close there, and it was supposed to come out at 1050. So it'll be a pretty strong cream ale. I'll walk you guys over there, and we can look at it quick. There's the cream ale. You can see it's bubbling away. This room stays pretty consistent. It's actually kind of a storage room. It's in my basement. It stays at a pretty consistent 62 degrees. So I guess if any of you have brewed a cream ale before, I had a large amount of real thick protein hop break. I'm assuming that has to do something with the flaked rice and the flaked corn. I have no idea. As you can see down here, a lot of this it's not going to focus, but real, just a lot of powdery flour-like sediment. But it's fermenting away, and it's not clear at all yet, but it was looking pretty clear when I was Vorloffing. So definitely be excited. With that one, I'm probably going to leave it in the fermenter for a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then try to find an area of the house that I can get at 40 to 50 degrees and let it ferment for another, or just kind of a secondary in a way to condition for about 2 more weeks, and then bottle it. That's pretty much all I did this week. I do have my kegging stuff upstairs. I was able to get my CO2 tank exchanged for a full one today, and I have the IPA semi-cold crashing up in the refrigerator, but I'm going to transfer it over to the keg tomorrow, I believe. The refrigerator I have down here, the mini fridge that I showed you before, is just basically staying at about 10 degrees, whether I turn up the adjustments or not. So I'm definitely going to have to get a temperature controller for that. Next week I'm going to try to do a homebrew Wednesday, even though now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not going to be able to get it done. What else do I got going? Well, I think that's it. I'm definitely depressed over the Packers game. That sucked this week. Oh, it's a couple of shout-outs I want to do. One shout-out is for Brett's Brewery. I've been watching his videos. He's hilarious. And he actually has this 52-ounce beer mug, and he made this joke that he likes it because he's not lying to his wife when he just has 1 or 2, because, he's just having 1 or 2. Check him out, Brett's Brewery, just how you would think you'd spell it. Another shout out is Dan ABA. He has done a lot of comments on my phone or on my videos, and I really appreciate it. It's been helpful. So check those 2 guys out if you haven't, and happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. Cheers. Go Pack, go.